last, say, 45 minutes or so. I know the Weather Service was monitoring this system really over the last, say, 45 minutes or so, and it was a really close call if they were going to put this under a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. They went ahead and pulled that trigger. There's a Natchez Trace Parkway, so it's now the rotation itself is crossing that. Lauderdale County Highway 259, County Road 85, Lauderdale County Highway 139, County Road 127. Any of these places, you need to be in a safe place right now. That rotation is extreme northern Lauderdale County right now. That's the area we're continuing to monitor. And then look to the north here. There is some significant lightning with this particular storm. We'll go ahead and zoom back in here in southern Wayne County, northern Lauderdale County. That is a major light show you're seeing now around Cypress Inn headed toward Fairview. But Cloverdale, Zip City, we don't need anybody on U.S. Highway 43 right now south of Fairview, from Fairview down to Zip City, all the way down to the south. Nobody on Highway 43 until this system moves on by. This is a rotating thunderstorm, the potential of a tornado now moving through extreme northern Lauderdale County. We can show you the base velocity once again, and that is a very, very good signature here that's now north of Cloverdale. If you're in Cloverdale, you need to be in a safe spot like right this very second. There is some really, really good rotation here. You can see it here moving to the north there, or from the south and east there, and to the north and west there. So there is some definite rotation here. Is the rotation on the ground? We don't know just yet. Do we have a funnel cloud? We don't know just yet, but we're watching it. We have there's a lot of people that live up this way that could probably see something, but at this point, you don't need to be outside. You need to be in a safe spot right now. Extreme northern Lauderdale County. This does not include Florence. This does not include places like Waterloo or Wright, or anywhere close to the Tennessee River. This is the extreme northern part of Lauderdale County right now, with a rotating thunderstorm that could be producing a tornado near Cloverdale, just north of Highway 20. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and let's see. Let me go ahead and zoom to head to the south here and kind of show you Fairview, Blackburn, St. Florine, Zip City. Any of these spots, you need to be in a safe place right now with a tornado warning in effect until 8:30. Christina, I'm going to head back over to you. You're up there on the green screen itself, and what do you have over there?
Absolutely. We're seeing the photos that you're sending in to us of the sky from looking towards the north from Cypress Inn, from Cloverdale. That was just sent in to us by Amanda South 99 on Twitter. So we're continuing to monitor your storm reports, your sky photos. Again, if you are in the path of this storm, you need to be sure that you are taking shelter immediately. It's only if you are outside the warning. You could likely see this all the way down from Florence and Muscle Shoals. You may be able to see this particular thunderstorm well to the south. So if you're inside of this red box, this red polygon, I encourage you, go ahead and go to your safe spot. But if you are in, say, Underwood all the way down to Muscle Shoals, Florence, you may be able to see the structure of this thunderstorm safely, considering this is moving a little bit further towards your east. But at this time, right now, we do have a tornado warning in effect for Lauderdale County as well as southern Wayne County through 8:30 p.m. So it's currently 8:15 at this moment. For the next 15 minutes, we are watching the intensity of the storm as well as the potential for it to be producing a tornado. Now, right now, it is all radar indicated at the moment, but as we go into the next several minutes, it may be potentially producing some kind of rotation. So right now, for our directors and producers in the back, we are currently on Ben's computer. We are on Max 2. If you would please pop up Max 1 here. There we go. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is essentially the home view for us here in North Alabama, and you notice that the main storm that we're talking about now developed in southern Tennessee, and it is now moving down through northern Lauderdale County. So that's why we have the tornado warning in effect for northern Lauderdale County, southern what looks to be Wayne Wayne County. Yes, Wayne County. So if you are in Collinwood, this is moving south of you at this time. So if you are in Collinwood, I think even though you are under that severe thunderstorm warning, the reality is that the majority of this, the bulk of this, is now south of you. But that said, I think lightning will still be able to impact you. So please be safe if you are outside. In fact, I would encourage you to go inside and not get struck by the lightning. But right now, we have the bulk of this potential rotation just north of Cloverdale, just to the southeast of Fairview, where you see all of this lightning, where you see that bright magenta in there. That is where we would be detecting hail, and also where we have the increased amount of that lightning there. That is a signature. Sometimes when you have a lightning jump, that lets us know that we've got a really potentially strong updraft that may be potentially producing some rotation. You can see the brightest color just to the north of Cloverdale. So if you are in Cloverdale, I really would be in my safe spot right now. Don't even try to go outside and storm spot or see what is going on here. That is likely going to be the strongest portion of the storm, and it is possible that it's producing some damaging winds. So when we talk about damaging winds, a lot of times that's going to be 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour or greater. Right now, the radar from High Top does, and remember, High Top's in northern Jackson County, so that radar beam's trying to sample through Lauderdale. So we're actually getting the center portion of the thunderstorm here. But to see such very strong winds here, those bright colors are the strong winds just on top of Cloverdale. There we go, 60 mile per hour. Just got there we go, 60 miles. That zero there is because I clicked just outside of the green spot there. But we have 60 plus mile per hour winds here, and because of the orientation of where this particular thunderstorm is located, it is possible that we're only getting one side of the the velocity bends and not necessarily the other. I'm going to try and sample. It looks like we are going to be using High Top for the majority of this evening. But I want to take a look at the shear rate as well as the shear swath. And yes, this has a history of producing some kind of shears, producing some kind of rotation as it moved from southern Wayne County into northern Lauderdale County. So what I want to do is I want to go straight down into the street level view here, north just on top of Cloverdale. That's where we're seeing the greatest reflectivity. But honestly, if you're in Cloverdale, please go into your safe spot immediately, whether that be the basement, the lowest floor of your home. If you don't have a basement, go inside the closet. Make sure that you're protecting your head. Grab a helmet if you have it, or grab a pillow, grab a jacket or a blanket. Protect your neck, protect your head, because again, if this produces any kind of those damaging winds, if it knocks down a tree, a power line onto your home or wherever you live, you may potentially be impacted by that. And we've seen a few entrapments this morning as storms came through. So please go to your safe place. Make sure that you've got protection for your head, for your neck, for your back, and also your shoes. It's summertime. A lot of us like to wear flip-flops. Please wear good shoes, whether it's a sneaker, wear some sneakers or some hiking shoes, whatever you have that is more than just a flip-flop, that would be a lot better. So as we are saying here, we do have a tornado warning for Lauderdale County for the next 15 minutes or so. That main circulation is going to be right on top of the Cloverdale area, the Johnson Crossroads area as well. So what I want to look at is the reflectivity, and that reflectivity, that bright color that you see, that's going to be the area where you would have the greatest potential for even seeing that rotation there. So I'm going to quickly step off screen so I can read the road names for you, but this will be County Road 8, County Road 11, County Road 268, and the Lauderdale County 139 area as well. So if you recognize those roads, please be in your safe spot. Get there immediately. Notice how just to the east, Zip City, Wilson, State Road 17, that is downwind. So you need to be aware, Zip City all the way down, that this may be moving into your direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back on the reflectivity mode, bring us back to the home view so that we can then come back in and give you a storm track as we do so. As I line this up for a storm track, I'm going to check in with meteorologist Ben Smith. Ben, are you seeing any updates or anything like that from the National Weather Service?
Yeah, there's some spotters out there in the Lawrence County. They haven't seen anything. They're not close enough to see the rotation, but I tell you, if you're in Cloverdale, if you're in Zip City, if you're along Highway 17, Wilson High School is over here around the Zip City Wilson area there on Highway 17. You need to be be in a safe place right now. The rotation, it's still there. We're looking at the base velocity here. Whenever you see the reds and the greens, we're looking at wind direction here. Whenever you see the reds and the greens closer together, you can see the red there blowing away from the radar. The green is blowing toward the radar. So the rotation is definitely there near Cloverdale. The rotation is right over top of Cloverdale here as it's moving to the east now at about 20 miles per hour. And that rotation will be crossing Alabama Highway 17 right now. So we don't want anyone traveling on Highway 17 here, Zip City down to Jacksonburg. Again, there's another update there. The rotation, maybe not quite as impressive as it was just a little while ago, but it's definitely still there. I mean, the tornado warning in effect for another 10 minutes here. So Zip City, Blackburn, Jacksonburg, anybody along Highway 20 here, you're seeing some significant lightning up around Cypress Hill and in the southern middle Tennessee there into Wayne County. I mean, it's coming hard. We're probably getting some large hail here on the north side of the system. If you're down here to the south, Underwood, Petersville, you're probably okay. I'd probably just kind of hang out if you're in Florence High School. Just kind of hang out there in St. Florine as well. The main rotation itself probably moving up to the north here. But we'll go ahead and do another storm track here. I mean, the system is moving to the east and southeast at about 20 miles per hour. So Zip City, you have about 5 minutes. You need to be in your safe place. You should have been in your safe place 15 minutes ago. But go ahead and get in there now. We don't have much time until that rotation itself. It will be crossing Highway 17 near Zip City, near Blackburn, near Wilson High School, and then it'll get east of there, and then perhaps getting toward, we'll see what happens if it gets toward Green Hill there, Highway 43, Highway 64, that is Alabama Highway 64 that runs through Lexington. Anybody over there as well probably needs to hang out for a little while longer here. Highway 43, of course, that splits off from Highway 72 there in Killen. I would say folks in Killen probably just need to relax here a little bit until this rotation moves on by. But there's a look at Zip City in the next 5 minutes. The rotation, honestly, I think the rotation right now is crossing Alabama Highway 17 right now, right around Zip City. On the north side of that, some significant, probably some blinding rainfall up here as we check the reflectivity. I mean, that is some significant rainfall. There's a potential for some large hail here around Bethel Grove, that fuchsia pink color, Fairview, Iron City. Continues under that tornado warning for another 9 minutes or so. But Zip City right now, the rotation is over top of you. And then it's probably going to rain like crazy within the next 5 or 10 minutes. You'll have the rotation, and then it's going to rain like crazy, perhaps some large hail, and then it'll all be over with probably the next 30 minutes. But right now, we need everybody in extreme northern Lauderdale County, Zip City, Blackburn, Pruitt, right down to Jacksonburg to be in a safe spot. And we'll be A-okay. Everybody in Cypress Inn at this point, it looks like most of the rotation is now past you. It's just some very heavy rainfall and some strong gusty winds and some lightning. But Zip City, for sure, you guys need to be in a safe spot right now. The rotation is, it looks like right now, Christina, it is crossing Alabama Highway 17.
Thank you so much, Ben. And spotters are on the storm. They're keeping an eye on it. Those are trained storm spotters. They know how to place themselves so that they are safe as they are spotting the storm. So, for instance, if you're in Petersville, you may be able to see this from where you are. Killen, you are downwind of this. So even though you are outside of that warning polygon, I would be prepared to get to my safe spot, but you are far enough away from it that you may be able to see what is happening. But if you are in Cloverdale, Zip City, I think you're way too close for comfort to go outside and take any pictures. You need to be in your safe spot, so please go there as quickly as possible. Also want to do a quick line here, a track for you to give you a sense as to when this is going to be moving downwind, especially since we just got that new scan. So I'm going to try this again. We've been noticing sometimes that when we do a track, it'll come out blank. So let me try this one more time. But Ben, I'm making a mental note as I look there just to the north and east of Zip City. City, close to that state line. That's awfully suspicious to see this curvature just like that. So that is very interesting to see. That lets me know that we've got some very strong inflow going into that storm. So essentially, St. Florine, Killen, Green Hill, you are downwind of this. The tornado warning is going to be in effect through 8:30, but we're continuing to monitor the National Weather Service to see if they're going to be updating and perhaps extending this a little bit further. The reason why we are concerned about this particular storm is you can see that bright red and that bright green close to each other. Now, I do think that this would be, like you said, Ben, that circulation would be a little bit closer to Zip City. So we've got to, even though we just got a new radar scan here, I think we'll need to see what our next data point gives us, so what the new scan gives us. But this bright green that we see, especially towards the south and west of Zip City at this moment, that's some very bright colors, and that lets us know that we may have some fast, strong winds coming on through. It may also be possible that this particular storm is cycling. So our shear path has been showing that it looks like it's weakening just a tad as it gets closer to Zip City. But with that said, I think that's more of a cycling trend. So we cannot let our guard down with this particular storm as we go through the next 15 to 20 minutes, because it's possible that it may be cycling, which means that it weakens and then it strengthens again, weakens and then strengthens again. So that is one of the reasons why we're very concerned about this right now as it crosses on top of Alabama 17 here through northern Lauderdale County. What I want to do is I want to reset, just give everybody a quick view as to what is happening here in North Alabama and southern Tennessee. This particular storm that had the tornado warning in effect on it, or currently has the tornado warning in effect on it, started off in Wayne County. It has since moved. It's dipping down towards the south at this time. So what was originally a cluster of thunderstorms or individual discrete storms that were developing in southern Tennessee, they are now pushing south, and now we do have a tornado warning for Lauderdale County as well as southern Wayne County. So Fairview, Iron City, you are part of that warning. The reason why we have a little bit of this dipping down into northern Lauderdale County is because we're noticing that sometimes we get what's called a right turning system. As everything tries to move off towards the east, you then get some atmospheric processes that push it down towards the south. So let me go ahead and try and put a track on this for you. It is right on top of Zip City. See, we just got that new scan in, so that is that's helpful to see that. It's right on top of Zip City. It is moving towards the east, southeast at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So Green Hill, 840. It's currently 826. It'll be in Green Hill at 840. Anderson at 9:15 if this were to hold together. But if you know anybody who lives in northern Lauderdale County, getting into northeastern Lauderdale County, and as well as southern Wayne County and extreme southwestern Lawrence County. In Lawrence County, you've had a particularly damaging thunderstorm come through earlier this morning. So this is yet another one coming through once again. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, picked the wrong button here. What I'm going to do is zoom in to the street level here once more. Notice how we're seeing that uptick of lightning on the western side. That means that we may still be seeing some strengthening of the storm. The magenta here, that is potentially some hail. That is just to the north and east of Cloverdale, right on top of Zip City. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more because I really want to get to the street level here in northern Lauderdale County and southern Tennessee, southern Wayne and Lawrence County. So Zip City as well as State Route 17 here, you need to be aware of that. Bethel Grove, the hail is likely falling at this time. Hines, Pruiton, I believe is, let me just step off here. Yes, okay. Pruiton, you are definitely going to be just to the north of where we would see the majority of the circulation here. But Wilson and Blackburn, that is where we see this leading edge of this surging on down. So let's double check on the velocity for you here. I'm going to move the map because, again, what's interesting is that these are now starting to move due south. So that may be making some changes with regards to what kind of physics is inside of this particular storm. But I'm noticing that our rotation, for the most part, as well to the west over by Cloverdale, even though our reflectivity is showing that this one lobe is surging out a little bit further towards the east. So that's very, very interesting to notice. Ben, I'm going to step off and take a look one more time as to what is going on with the overall circulation with the storm. What are some new updates that you're seeing?
Well, right right now I'm trying to do an update quickly on the new discussion just came out, and they're just talking about that over the next couple of hours here that the atmosphere is still primed for the potential for isolated tornadoes over West Alabama over the next couple of hours here. So I'm still typing that out, but what I'll do is again showing you that rotation there. It's right over top of Zip City and Blackburn, crossing Highway 17, and as Christina was saying that this system actually might be cycling somewhat, so it might be trying to reorganize itself. And as we look at the base velocity here, I mean, as you can see, we showed you before about where the inbound and outbound winds were, and it looks like it's almost kind of backed up a little bit. So this same area is seeing those winds in opposite directions here from Zip City back toward Cloverdale. So that rotation is kind of almost sitting in almost the exact same spot it was, say, 5 minutes ago. So maybe there's some cycling going on here. So everybody in Zip City, by now you would think the system would have already moved on out. And it's interesting that they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning now being extended into the rest of Lauderdale County until 9 o'clock. That's an interesting scenario that they would issue a severe thunderstorm warning up until 9 o'clock and not go with a tornado warning until 9 o'clock with that particular one. But anyway, if you're in Green Hill, if you're along Highway 43 north of Killen there, if you're along Alabama Highway 69, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning now for the next, say, half hour or so with this rotating thunderstorm that is still moving through Green Hill or moving through Zip City and Blackburn. It's basically right along Highway 17. We've been talking about this highway for a while now, but anybody along Highway 17 needs to be in a safe spot for at least the next 20 to 30 minutes until this system moves on by. Severe thunderstorm warning up, tornado warning up. This is extreme northern Lauderdale County. This does not include Florence. It does not include places down to the south and east. This is the extreme northern part of Lauderdale County for this evening. Heavy rainfall up here right across to the state line. The potential for some large hail as well. Some blinding rainfall up here as well. So folks around Zip City and Blackburn, Highway 17, will say it over and over again. You need to be in a safe spot. We want everybody safe this evening until this system moves on by. West Alabama under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. The atmosphere is definitely primed for the potential for some rotating thunderstorms. And it's one of those deals where, as I can go ahead and zoom out on the bigger view here, these storms are almost what we call discrete supercells. They're discrete because they're all by themselves. You can see there's one there and there's one and then there's one. It's not, one big line that comes through, and these storms are kind of fighting each other. These, they have all kinds of time to just blow up and do their own thing, and that's what's been going on. Even those storms up there on the west side of Waynesboro, that's probably a decent hail core. There's probably going to be a severe thunderstorm warning with that. Also back into Wayne County and southern middle Tennessee, and it looks like they have canceled the tornado warning.
Yes, they have canceled the tornado warning. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning that is extended downstream there because the National Weather Service has noted what we have noted, which is that the rotation does not look nearly as tight. It's more of a broad rotation. With that said, a severe thunderstorm can produce a tornado at any given time if the conditions are favorable for it. But because that the likelihood of a tornado has lessened within the past 30 minutes or so, that is why we now have that warning change from a tornado warning to a severe thunderstorm warning. With that said, we're going to continue to monitor this on your television screen, as well as live streaming this for you on Facebook and on our news app and our weather app, because of the history that we've been seeing over the past 48 hours of various storms, sometimes cycling, where they weaken and then they get stronger and produce potentially tornadic situations. So that's why we're going to continue to monitor this for you as we go through the next 30 minutes or so. What I am going to do is provide a little bit of a timeline once again. The leading edge of this is right on top of Green Hill, and it's making its way towards Lexington. Killen, you are inside of that severe thunderstorm warning. Depending on what kind of physics are driving it, it could move due south towards you, towards Killen, or a little bit more towards the east-southeast, more towards the Rogersville, Anderson area. So Lexington, 8:47. It's currently 8:33. The storm is likely going to arrive to you at 8:47. Anderson at 9:03, Rogersville at 9:17, and Salem at 9:23. And as we mentioned, this has been cycling. So right now it looks like this particular storm is the rotation that's been embedded within it is no longer as strong. We're not seeing a tight rotation. Instead, it's a more broad rotation. But unfortunately, any rotation is not good. So that is why we continue to monitor this over the course of this evening. Now, the other thing that we should also keep in mind is look at all of this lightning that is associated with this particular thunderstorm, and that is certainly not going to be good news. In fact, I would be certain that we may have some power outages here due to all of the lightning that is occurring on the western side of this particular thunderstorm. Going to take a look at our storm relative velocity. This tells you that if the entire storm is moving in one direction towards the east or southeast, if you have any kind of embedded rotation within it, that would be picked up here. And again, it's located in such a spot that I don't think that we're seeing much in terms of rotation here between that green and that red there, just because of the structure of the storm and the direction that it's going. But with that said, at any given time, this particular thunderstorm could reorganize itself, and it will produce some kind of tight rotation there. And that is why we are not letting our guard down, even though that tornado warning has been allowed to expire and has been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So once more, going to put the track on here for you. The heaviest of the rain and possibly even some hail is currently falling over Zip City. If you are in, say, Lexington, Green Hill, you're thinking, well, it's rather light rain at this time. It is going to be moving in your direction and becoming very heavy in just a short amount of time. So arriving in Anderson about 9:14. Lexington, I would give it a little bit sooner of a time frame, approximately that 8:45 to 8:50 time frame. But let me go ahead and put this in motion because you can see what it's been doing, its behavior. So today has been rather interesting in the sense that not everything is moving from due west to due east. Not everything's been moving from southwest to northeast. In fact, this is the second storm that we have seen today that has already made a southerly movement towards the southeast. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see it book it more towards due south. So this afternoon, we're seeing a lot of these thunderstorms do what we call right turning. So instead of going straight ahead towards the east, they're turning and going towards the south, which would be towards the right. So what is interesting about this right now is I'm starting to see this, what may be an inflow here extending from, say, Anderson through Lexington into Green Hills. That's an interesting artifact that I'm seeing on the radar. We'll have to continue to see if that's a trend that is moving on forward. But for now, the worst of this is located just north of Cloverdale, right on top of Zip City, and it's making its way through along the US 43 area here, just to the south of Green Hill. So one more time, I'm going to pause this for you, put it in street view, street mode is what I'm trying to say, and give you a sense as to where it is at this time. And I do have colleague meteorologist Ben Smith here on standby as I zoom in here, trying to get it to street view. We do have a few reports out there of some people seeing some potential lowering of the clouds out there in the National Weather Service chat. So Ben's on standby with that in just a moment. But essentially from Green Hill to Parkertown to Bailey Springs, and then extending a little bit over towards the west here. Right now, it looks like the worst of it is over Bethel Grove with all that lightning, Zip City, Hines, Puritan, and Blackburn. So it's moving slowly towards the east-southeast at about 20 miles per hour. Ben, what's the latest update?
All right, well, so far we've had several reports of a funnel cloud out here to the west around Cloverdale. At least folks were seeing it from Cloverdale and closer to the state line, but no confirmed touchdown here with this particular storm. Now, we don't have any active tornado warnings, but we need to have everybody in a safe place here in northern Lauderdale County. If you're around Green Hill and if you're along Highway 64, if you're along US 43, and especially on Highway 17 on the north side of Zip City and in Zip City. Just go ahead and be in a safe place, because we know these storms, sometimes they can be a little dicey. They can reconfigure themselves. And even you can see here back to the west. I'll go ahead and draw on here real fast on the west side of Zip City. See that little area right here? You know, something like that on the backside. You have to watch something like that with this particular situation. But, you know, at this point, we'll just have to monitor it. At this point, it's just a heavy rainfall and some strong gusty winds coming through extreme northern Lauderdale County. This system is moving to the east at about 20 miles per hour. What you're going to see in Green Hill and on Highway 43 on the north side of Killen is some extremely heavy rainfall. I mean, this is blinding rainfall. This is the type of rain where you have to have your lights on, your flashers on, maybe even pull off on the side of the road on Highway 43. That is a nasty storm near Zip City right here. I mean, that is about that. I promise you, there is some large hail coming down in Zip City along Highway 17. There's a look at Hines, Lauderdale County Road 8, Butler Creek Road, Mount Zion, County Road 8. Any of these locations, you need to just hang out. I mean, I know it's not a tornado warning, but it's blowing hard enough now. We may have some trees down. We may have some power lines down. You may have some power flashes. That's why we always encourage folks to have more than one way to get a warning, including our Live Alert 19 app. Have that app downloaded on your phone, and that way you can follow our coverage, you can follow the radar, and you won't lose any vital information. That's what you need that app for. And that weather radio, make sure it has some batteries as well. So right now you can see some heavy weather around Zip City, north toward the state line. I can show you the home view real fast. That's the only storm we have going on right now in the viewing audience up here in southern middle Tennessee, extreme northern Lauderdale County. Again, this does not include Florence. It doesn't include Oakland or down towards Sheffield or even out to the west in Waterloo. This is extreme northern Lauderdale County, severe thunderstorm warning, Green Hill, Highway 64, Highway 43, just north of Killen. You have some very heavy weather headed your way. This storm system continues to move to the east at about, say, 20 to 30 miles per hour. That is some very heavy weather there in Zip City. And what we're going to do now is do just a quick storm track here to give you the latest. We'll go ahead and go right from Zip City eastward, crossing Highway 43 over toward Green Hill. So Zip City, I know it's raining like crazy right now, but basically right now at 8:41, heavy rainfall. There you go. Now, and now Green Hill at 9 o'clock. So in the next 20 minutes, you're in Green Hill now, probably just some light to moderate rainfall, probably hearing some thunder in the distance, but it's going to get dicey in a hurry within the next 20 to 30 minutes with heavy rainfall, some dangerous lightning, the potential for some large hail here around Green Hill, Highway 43, Highway 64 as well runs through Green Hill as well. So everybody in Green Hill, please just kind of relax here, or get to a safe spot and relax, and then we will definitely take care of you for the rest of this evening. The bigger view shows some heavier thunderstorms up here north of the state line, and that is a nasty thunderstorm that's south of Collinwood as well. That will likely produce some large hail as well. But right now there's one severe thunderstorm warning. It is up for northern Lauderdale County, including Zip City, Green Hill, anybody along Highway 43, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning for another about 19 minutes. Let's see. Just keeping an eye on the chat here. Okay. All right, so far, just kind of watching this system there in northern Lauderdale County. I know it's a lot of information on the map here, but that's what we have going on. Green Hill at 9 o'clock. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and take that storm track off, and let's go ahead and zoom back in and do another one here. What I'll do is I'll take this one here north of Zip City, closer to the state line. I'll do another storm track on that, because that's where it looks, that system right there, right on Highway 20, Highway 17, that's the one that looks even stronger. So again, Green Hill just around 9 o'clock, 9:02. So northern Lauderdale County just kind of waiting it out. out at this point for that heavy rainfall. Some strong gusty winds, probably getting some power outages up here. Wouldn't shock me. Some power lines are down, some trees are down, and getting some large hail here, probably the size of quarters, maybe even a little bit larger up here. That's a large fuchsia color. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's see. Let's take a look at the base velocity once again. Not real strong here. You remember before we saw the green and the red together? Mainly it's just red. Everything is almost kind of unidirectional at this point. So at least that's some good news there. We're not seeing that rotation we saw earlier, but that brighter shade of red there in Zip City, that's where the wind is really coming down to. So we have a lot of wind, a lot of rainfall, a lot of lightning, probably some hail thrown in there as well. So even though this is not a tornado warning, it can still be just as dangerous with some really heavy rainfall and some strong gusty winds with this particular system. Christina, I will definitely keep a close watch on the chat here and throw it back over to you.
Thank you so much. And I also want to say thank you so much to Leah Johnson. She is a viewer who lives in the Lauderdale County area, and right now she just tweeted to me that a wall cloud is still present within the storm in Lauderdale County, and a wall cloud is a lowering protrusion that sometimes does serve as the parent cloud, for lack of a better term, the precursor to sometimes funnels and even tornadoes that can drop out of the sky. So wall clouds are indications that we do have the potential for those storms to be rather tornadic. So I'm trying to center this up for you. Give me just a moment here. There we go. And we still have a few reports that I want to relay back to you before we give you a timeline real quick, because this does have the history of producing a funnel cloud in Cedar Grove, at the Cedar Grove Road east of Tennessee 13 in Wayne County. So that was about, that report's from 8:27, and it's likely that, or I'm seeing that was reported at 8:27, but that likely happened a little bit sooner, closer to the top of the hour. So this has the history of producing a funnel cloud. And remember, a funnel cloud it's not technically a tornado, but quite frankly, it's one of those columns that does protrude out of the sky and does not make contact with the ground. Once it makes contact with the ground, that's when it's considered a tornado. So all that technicality to essentially say funnel cloud is that last step before you can really call it officially a tornado. Speaking of tornadoes, this is a very interesting situation that is going on here, and interesting in the sense that we have multiple lobes here. We have this front lobe that is now surging northwest of Killen. We have the second one that is now just on top of Zip City. And so what we're noticing here is that we may have multiple areas of circulation that we have to contend with. Keep in mind that right now we are under a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Lauderdale County, but at any given time, what we've been noticing over the past 45 minutes or so, any given time, this could cycle up, become a little bit stronger, and potentially produce a tornado. And indeed, where I see all these lightning strikes right here just to the north of Zip City, just about where it meets North Alabama meets with southern Tennessee, that is where we may potentially be seeing strengthening updraft and possibly the development or the strengthening of that thunderstorm, possibly developing a tornado within the next few minutes. So that's why we're taking this so seriously. We're concerned about it because with the cycling nature, sometimes it gets weaker, sometimes it gets stronger, and I'm concerned that especially on this backer end, towards the backside, towards Zip City, south of Fairview, that's where we could possibly be seeing a second circulation developing. So it's on top of Green Hill right now, Lexington at 9:11, Anderson at 9:31. So that means that you're literally downstream of the leading edge of this stronger, heavier rain. Now what I'm going to do is give you a zoomed in view of where I think that stronger circulation is located. And again, right on top of State Route 17, so Alabama 17, just to the north of Zip City. This is just right about on that Alabama-Tennessee line, especially where you see all of these lightning strikes. That, again, lets us know we have a very strong updraft. And the stronger the updraft, the stronger the thunderstorm, the greater likelihood that we could potentially see some development out of this particular storm. So where I think that's the strongest portion of the thunderstorm, I'm going to essentially give you a storm track, what could be be downstream, who could be located downstream of that particular storm. And I see that it doesn't want to give me all the different locations. So let me go ahead and step off and call out for you again. We're talking about County Road 299. You need to be in your safe spot right now. County Road 344. The city of Hines, Lauderdale County 8, that's County Road 8, County Road 61, as well as County Road 177. You all need to be in your safe spot right now. We do see some bright pink, some purple, some magenta on the screen there. In addition to the potential to seeing some of this potential rotation, we could be seeing some strong updrafts that are able to sustain large hail. That's what I'm trying to get to. So we could possibly be seeing some large hail here, where we see the pink and the purple here on the map. So it's not just the potential for rotating or twisting winds, it's also potential for some straight line winds and that large hail that may possibly put a dent in the side of your home or in the side of your car. I'm going to go ahead and reset for you, get a sense of what is happening here in North Alabama. Yeah, it looks like a lot of empty space here for North Alabama, Southern Tennessee. It's going to take a very long while for these particular storms to make their way into Marshall, Jackson, Madison, Morgan, and DeKalb counties. But if you're in Limestone County, if you're in northern Lawrence County, you already had a tornado warning earlier, about an hour or so ago. If you're in Limestone County, keep an eye as to what this particular storm does, because again, it's to be quite honest with you, its path has been very interesting in the sense that it's not due east and it's not due south. There are times where it decides to go to the east, and there are times where it decides to switch gears and move towards the south. So if you're in Limestone County, I would be on your toes to see exactly how far south and east this particular storm travels, because it has been one of those in which you cannot determine exactly what its direction is going to be as you go further in time, say 30 minutes down the line. We're able to detect it within the first 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to put on a storm track for you here. Once again, the leading edge of this rain, essentially the first drops of it starting to move into the Elkmont area, starting to move into Limestone County, say getting into Elkmont at 9:36, Cross Key at 9:39, Ardmore at 9:43, and Alabama Fork at 9:47. So we're right about at 8:50 p.m. Keep in mind that as we go into the 9 o'clock hour, if you're in Limestone County, you need to be on your toes. A little bit closer of a look here before I give a quick storm track as to where we think the center of that circulation may be located. So again, I think the center is going to be right about at the Zip City area. So doing that storm track for you, where I think that circulation is going to move as we go through time. Here we go, continuing to move towards the east-southeast. I'm going to give it a 25-mile-per-hour track here. So Green Hill at 9 p.m., Lexington at 9:24, and Anderson at 9:38 p.m. So one more look at its velocities, its different rotations, if you will, if it's producing anything. Right now, that bright color over Zip City, let me take a look at the storm relative. See, now it looks like the rotation continues to be broad, and that's what the National Weather Service is also noticing at this time. So that's why it's still a severe thunderstorm warning. But sampling some of this data from the Zip City area, we're looking at wind speeds of possibly 40 to 50 miles per hour. In order to be considered severe, it needs to be 58. But again, this is the high top radar, and the beam does rise as it continues to sample a lot of these towns, or a lot of the data points here, because of just the nature, the physics of that radar beam, as well as the fact that the Earth curves. So that's why we have to sample lots of different radars. I am looking at the high top data. Ben is looking at the Columbus data in Columbus, Mississippi, getting cross-sectional analysis here, because this is one of those storms that is in that area where we need to look at multiple radar sources. Speaking of Ben, what kind of updates do you see over there, or any kind of damage reports?
Well, there's still some rotation with this. I mean, it's broad, but there is still some rotation with this particular storm. So everybody in Green Hill, you need to be in a safe place right now. That is some very heavy rainfall. It's been light so far in Green Hill, but now it's going to be picking up. You're going to have some heavy rainfall, some very heavy lightning, and also the potential for some large hail here. The heavier rainfall now crossing Highway 17. We've been talking about Zip City most of the evening here over the last, say, 30 minutes, but now we're getting into Green Hill, and there are a few of the roads there. County Road 177, also County Road 344, County Road 8, County Road 299. Any of these spots, you're going to see some very heavy rainfall, the potential for some gusty winds, some hail, some significant lightning. I mean, look at the fuchsia colors, look at the pink colors, the potential for some quarter-sized hail there easily heading into Green Hill. There's State Highway 64 where it bumps up into State Highway 227 there, and also County Road 47, County Road 73 as well. So that's some very heavy weather heading in past Zip City now, getting into Green Hill. So we'll be concentrating on Green Hill over the next, say, 10 minutes or so. The official warning goes until 9 o'clock for another 7 minutes. And honestly, I think the warning will probably be extended even further to probably include maybe even into Limestone County. We have to wait and see. Matter of fact, we can show you the big view real quick here. Still got a while to go before it gets into Anderson or Rogersville, but I tell you, this warning will likely be extended if it's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. Either way, we're probably going to get something closer to places like Elgin Crossroads and Lexington. If you're along Alabama Highway 101, if you're around the Wheeler Dam, if you're any of these places or close to them, you are next. Even if we don't have a tornado warning, you are going to get some very heavy rainfall. You're going to get some large hail. You're going to get some dangerous lightning. A lot of folks are outside. It's a Saturday evening. You may want to go ahead and probably head inside. If you're in Anderson, if you're along Highway 207 there that runs from Rogersville to Anderson, you may want an Elgin Crossroads there at Highway 101. You may want to go ahead and just come on inside right now and just watch us until this system moves on by, because it's about to get really heavy as far as the rain. Lots of lightning, lots of thunder here in the next, say, 30 to 45 minutes there for eastern Lauderdale County. I'm guessing this warning will probably be extended. And it's interesting now, these storms are kind of moving a little bit slower. They're only moving at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. They're not racing to the east at 50 or 60 miles per hour like some of these could. But right now, Green Hill, Highway 43, Highway 64, we're most concerned about you right now just south of the state line, even though there's some really heavy rainfall up here to the north, especially up here into southern middle Tennessee. We can show you again some very heavy weather here up around Collinwood and west of there along Highway 64 getting into Wayne County as well. So some very heavy weather there, but right now we're most concerned about the Green Hill area now east of Zip City. Very heavy rainfall, most likely some significant hail here as well just south of Iron City. Again, we can zoom on in and pick out your county road there. County Road 344, Lauderdale County Road 94. There's a look at Green Hill. There's Highway 64 as well. I'll do a quick storm track here. These storms are moving slow. I'll go ahead and use that one right there where the hail core is at its strongest. I'll just say 15 to about 17 miles per hour. So Green Hill at 9/11. Even though it's raining hard now, it's going to be raining even harder. You're likely to get some large hail here within the next 15 minutes in downtown Green Hill and the surrounding area there in extreme northern Lauderdale County. That is that's a pretty big reflectivity signature there for some large hail, probably the size of quarters easily there just west of Green Hill. So that's what you can expect here over the next, say, 15 to 20 minutes. Other than that, there's some rainfall up here in southern middle Tennessee, Lawrence County, Wayne County, Hardin County, out to the west. Other than that, the Columbus radar is not picking up on much of anything. I can switch over to high top real quick. And the high top radar trying to get some reflectivity down here to the south. But by far, all the action is up here to the north. And I think that's a new tornado warning now just issued for Wayne County and Lawrence County in southern middle Tennessee, I do believe. Yes.
Through 9:30.
Okay, through 9:30 for that one. So I'll go ahead and take care of that one real quick. Christina, let's go ahead and zoom on in for Wayne County and Lawrence County in southern middle Tennessee. There's a tornado warning up. And what I'll do right now, if you're in Collinwood, I think you're fine. That's one of the bigger cities into Wayne County in southern Middle Tennessee. But if you're south of there, you need to be in a safe spot right this very second. And I'll read this out to you from the actual text till 9:30. So that's another 30 minutes or so. We have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that's 8 miles south of Collinwood or 18 miles north of Florence. It's moving east at 20 miles per hour. So the actual rotation itself, it looks like it's now just south of Collinwood. I'll put on the base velocity here. Actually, let's go over the storm relative velocity. So the rotation, I'll see if I can find it here. I'll go ahead and draw a line on it. So it looks like the rotation is, just south of Collinwood, right in that location there. So what I'll do is I'll do a quick storm track here. This one is moving east at 20 miles per hour. I mean, these storms are not moving very fast today. It looks like, well, I'm not getting a whole lot here, Geneva and also Holly Creek. So once again, if you're in southern Wayne County, southern Lawrence County, and southern Middle Tennessee. If you're in Loretto, you need to be in a safe spot right now. This system is perhaps headed your way there in southern Middle Tennessee with that tornado warning there. You're not going to see this thing coming. It's probably a lot of rain with it. It's just raining hard there around Geneva and Holly Creek and Fairview, but you need to be in a safe spot right now, especially if you're just south of Collinwood, north of Cloverdale, north of Holt. Very heavy rainfall, the potential for a possible tornado there, and it looks like it just has a lot of rain wrapped around it, and you're not going to see it. It's just going to be raining hard. The potential tornado will be moving on by. So again, tornado warning, Lawrence County, Wayne County, southern Middle Tennessee until 9:30 for another 32 minutes, while North Alabama right now, just that severe thunderstorm warning for Green Hill. That goes just for another few minutes here, but I can almost promise you that warning's probably going to be extended here in just a little while. Christina. Thank you so much, Ben. So what we're going to do, considering that we have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northern Lauderdale County, we are watching it. Okay, thank you, Josh. I just got a memo from our producer, Josh, as well as a memo from the National Weather Service. They are going to let the severe thunderstorm warning expire for now. So as of 9 o'clock, that severe thunderstorm warning for Lauderdale County will be expired. With that said, we still have the tornado warning just on the other side of the Tennessee state line for southern Wayne as well as for Lawrence counties. Now, technically, we have certain boundaries on our viewing audience, but we also understand that as human beings, we just don't have boundaries on who we are friends with or have family members with. So that's why we continue to monitor what is happening here throughout the Tennessee Valley, northern Alabama, and southern Tennessee. With that said, we're going to continue to also monitor any kind of photos, damage reports, hail reports, things of that nature. So for that reason, I'm pulling in our anchor, Chelsea Brentsel, to let us know what we have been compiling from you, as well as whenever we get a strong signal, we'll also be talking to Joel Porter, who is in Storm Hunter 19. So whenever we are able to talk to him, Josh, go ahead and let me and Chelsea know about that. But first, Chelsea, let's go ahead and toss it on over to you.
Yeah, so Christina, we have some really good news to report. I've been talking with the Lauderdale County Sheriff, and he tells me that there are no reports of damage or injuries at this time. In fact, he says that there haven't been any calls to 911. This is just a few minutes ago. No calls to 911 regarding the storm. So we appreciate him being available to kind of keep us updated. But we've also had a lot of pictures coming in. We'll take a look at that. But we have WHNT News 19's Joel Porter and Storm Hunter. He's in Lauderdale County. So, Joel, tell me where you are and tell me what you're seeing.
Well, good evening, Chelsea and Christina. We just got to Rogersville here a few minutes ago. We've been following along Highway 72 going west, just crossed into Lauderdale County, as we've been watching this very large, very slow-moving system with a great deal of lightning building all to the north side of the northwest side of the road. So it's very high. It looks like almost a mile in height, if you can believe that or not. So I'll flip it back around. We've been watching some of this lightning flashes just every few moments, so you can see it in the skyline here beyond the tree line. Again, we're parked just here at Rogersville Church of the Nazarene, just keeping an eye on things right now. All the activities happening on the north end of the highway. The south end is pretty much in the clear. There you can see another flash there just above the trees and this on the horizon. But so far we haven't encountered any rain or any hail as we have crossed into the county. But so far this very large, very slow-moving system, it does have a great deal of lightning. So we're just seeing what else develops here in Lauderdale County. But again, as Christina and Ben have been talking about, this system really seems to be taking its time, moving slowly east. As we've kind of had this, as myself, along with Shane Hayes and Storm Hunter 19, have been moving west, just keeping an eye on this. But once again, we're just parked here, just keeping an eye on it, wondering exactly how fast it's going to build and if it'll bring any more hazardous weather here to Lauderdale County. So again, sitting here, Rogersville, keeping an eye on this system. It hasn't brought any rain, at least not yet, or any other large hailstones that we have seen. But we will continue to keep you apprised of what we find out here. So once again, we're keeping an eye on things, reporting live from Storm Hunter 19 in Rogersville. Joel Porter, WHNT News 19. Back to you, Chelsea.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. And I just got another text from the Lauderdale County Sheriff, Rick Singleton. He's checked in with a few watch groups in different parts of the Lauderdale County area, and he says that he has not heard of any reports of hail either. So I want to bring you up to speed. No injuries reported in Lauderdale County, no reports of damage. And in fact, no 911 calls in reference to the storm. But we have had a ton of viewer pictures, which we appreciate you sending in, of people that have been in the path of the storm. The one thing that I noticed, we've gotten tons of videos and pictures, and the one thing I noticed that this storm has produced a lot of lightning and there's a lot of dark clouds. And so I don't know if we can pull any of that up, Josh, if we're able to take a look at that. That is from Leah Johnson. She's in Lauderdale County. That was from probably 20 so minutes ago, and you can see how dark those clouds are right there. Christina?
Yeah, and there's a feature that Leah was pointing out to. Let's go ahead and take a look at that picture if you can, Josh. I know sometimes it pops in and out at a moment, but if we can see that, there we go, thank you. So on the left side of the picture, just to the left of the yellow, what looks to be the power line anchor there, that's what she's noting as a wall cloud. Leah is a trained storm spotter, so she lives in the Lauderdale County area. So what she's noticed is that there's a lowering protrusion, and sometimes that wall cloud is a precursor to the funnel, which is the precursor to the tornado. So anytime we see a wall cloud, we always take it seriously, especially if there's rotation within that wall cloud. So that's what Leah had tweeted to WHNT News 19 about 20 minutes ago. So that has since moved out of much of northern Lauderdale County. And indeed, if we quickly go back to the radar just for a second, just for a recap, it looks like a lot of the thunderstorm is moving out of Lauderdale County and backing its way into southern Lawrence County towards Laredo. That is why there's that tornado warning that is in effect for southern Wayne as well as southern Lawrence County through 9:30 p.m., but no tornado warnings, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for northern Alabama at this time. That includes Lauderdale County. Chelsea?
So we still have more pictures that we've been getting in, and actually even some video that we had come into our newsroom. Lori Ware sent us this video. This is from maybe about 30 minutes ago. That is in Lauderdale County, actually near the North American Lighting complex, I guess, up there is what she had said. But you can see that there's a few lightning strikes there, but that was a little bit earlier in the day. But you can see that was what she was experiencing earlier. And we've had a lot of people send us videos, and then we're trying to process through those to try and be able to show them to you as we can continue our coverage. And so the other thing is I don't know if we have any more pictures, but we've had a lot of people send us pictures, and you can see right there, that is from John Collins in Muscle Shoals. I'm not entirely sure exactly where that picture is from. I don't know his specific location, but you can see the clouds there. Christine, does anything stick out to you in that picture?
What is interesting to me is just above the courtesy line is that we're seeing those cumuliform clouds. So that's what I'm saying. When you have that updraft, that rising air, that rapidly rising air, and you start to see those cumulonimbus clouds really forming. What's also interesting is that we're seeing those lower level shelves that are developing towards the middle of the photo. So that's letting us know that this is a very strong, potent storm that was developing. This view is from John Collins in the Muscle Shoals area. So we thank you so much, John, for sending that in.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of recap on our end as far as we've been getting these great pictures, but we don't have any reports of damage, which is really good, at least not right now. We do have crews monitoring the situation. They're out in Lauderdale County. WHNT News 19's Joel Porter is in Rogersville in Storm Hunter 19. We're going to check in with him at some point, but he isn't experiencing any hail or anything like that. Christina.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. And I'm also here with meteorologist Ben Smith. He is monitoring reports and conditions. And Ben, do you have any updates that you're able to share?
Well, I would say that rotation there in southern Middle Tennessee still looks like it's holding together. That tornado warning is still in effect for another 23 minutes there for southern Wayne County and southern Lawrence County in southern Middle Tennessee. So once again, just now north of Zip City, very heavy rainfall, some large hail here, most likely probably bigger than quarters here near Fairview and the Crossroads area here. And I'm going to put it on the base velocity, and you can still see there is some rotation there. And I'll go ahead and draw it on here once again. And the red, well, wrong button there. Let me go ahead and the red there indicating the winds are blowing away from the radar. I'm looking at the Columbus, Mississippi radar here, and then the green area is winds blowing toward the radar. So there is some minor rotation there near Fairview, and it's headed toward Geneva, Holly Creek, Mount Nebo, and then over